segregated.
Doing all the ads, some of them are cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, when we first started, we did some of
I ordered almost all of these.
You know, we'll do one episode where it's just talking about those non-Marvel hostess ads. Chris? Alright, I warned you.
Hey guys, we're gathering people right now. Hey Courtney. Still gathering. Oh, someone liked us. Thanks, Kat.
When you think of classic Marvel Star Wars comics, you think of club music.
I was thinking Blue Man Group. Well, actually, this cover is very disco tech.
Yes, it is. Oh, disco balls.
Let's see. Should we
Yeah.
say hello?
That's a hello
Okay.
to Courtney and Pierre and hey, and
Hey
Chris.
everyone.
And Chris Alexander.
Hold on. Oh no. How do I turn off the music?
Now that, why don't you go to that?
Here we There we go. Alrighty. Yay! Welcome everyone.
Hey everyone, we're gonna crunch in to this
Yes.
frame because we have a very special guest with us today. It is Star Wars origami author Chris Alexander.
It's all
Hey,
backwards.
Hey, everyone.
Welcome you guys. Yay! This will be a fun episode. It's a surprise episode because we hardly ever record on, what day is it? Thursdays? No.
Thursdays
Thursdays is when we put out our shows.
at 2:51, which was our original recording time, 2:51 p.m.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
good.
So we're
Perfect.
so the circle is now complete.
Oh, you know what? I
Bring
need
back
to
to the basics.
plug in my computer here. Hold on. Whoosh. Yeah, there we go. Ah, Courtney is saying hello.
Courtney's saying,
Hey,
hi, Chris.
Courtney. Good to see you. Well, sort of see you. Good to see your text.
Maybe
Welcome,
soon
you
enough
guys.
we'll do this on Get Vocal, where we can see everybody.
Yeah,
That would be
that'll be
fun.
nicer.
Even though the new Get Vocal is called Vocal, I just can't say Vocal.
You have to
Oh,
say get
okay.
vocal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll do this on Vocal. That doesn't
Doesn't ring a
roll.
bell.
No.
No. All right. All right, but so we are gonna. Oh, and of course your mobile goes.
That's your mobile.
That's my mobile.
All right, we're gonna begin in a few minutes here.
Yeah, we're waiting to wrap up. But what is everybody doing today? Are you getting ready to see Black Widow? Is that happening in the theaters today?
Today at midnight at 7 p.m.
Right, I was gonna say, like, yes, doesn't it usually?
Yeah, because midnight used to be 12:01. Then they said, or we can get in 3 or 4 more showings
Oh yeah,
if we slide that back to 7.
right.
Or if they get a few more in, they can do it the midnight before.
Or the midnight before that.
Yeah, that's it. Nice. All right, but for now,
So hey, Chris, go ahead and show them your copy of this
ooh,
issue we'll be covering.
It's right here.
There you-
I'm not allowed to let you touch
Oh.
it.
that was
This
a
copy right
stipulation.
here.
Ah, hey, there you
So,
go.
This is my copy from way back in '79, I believe. This issue.
1979.
And look, it's all pretty inside.
Like that. That's like a mint condition.
Well, kind of.
until you give it to me.
There's
And-
one tiny dent in one corner, so it's not quite perfect.
All right, we're done. Okay, how do you turn this off?
Wrap it up.
I
Wrap it up.
thought you
We're
had a
out.
mint copy.
We're out.
This changes everything.
That's the cover.
So everyone, go get your 1979 copy. Courtney.
I don't have one. Courtney doesn't have one either. She's seeing Black Widow tomorrow at 7 p.m. Ooh. Now, are you going to listen to our primer? Oh, because that's important.
Yes.
You may think you know a lot about Black Widow.
And then at 6 p.m. on Sunday, Chris, you gonna join us for our Black Widow roundtable discussion?
I might be back, but I will probably still be teaching a scuba class.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Underwater or hanging with you guys. You guys are a lot more fun.
All right, then it's settled.
Nice.
But the other people are paying.
Well, bring a little monitor.
I did think about it. I'll have a tablet underwater. Yeah, you guys are good. No, you're turning blue is perfectly normal. Hang on. Alright, what was
An
your
air
question?
leak? What do you mean a great white shark? They're talking about Black Widow.
See? Yeah. Dangers abound everywhere. And out here, too. Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. It would go over really well with the legal people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll vouch for you.
Pierre's wondering who's that guy?
Who's what guy?
Who's that
That
guy
guy?
next to you?
Oh,
That's Richard.
it's me. I'm her husband. I've occasionally recorded with Sarah. I do a lot of trivia with Sarah. And then there's Chris Alexander. Chris, where's your book?
My book. I just brought them all upstairs.
He is the author of Star Wars Origami, so that is who we have here
And
today.
if you want, there's a whole box full of examples. You can pull some out
Of origami, holy
of
cow!
my Star Wars origami.
Oh wow!
Well,
Goodness.
there's an origami. Well, this is not representative of your work.
No, that one's a very, very simple executor.
And here's
A simple
Death
Death
Star.
Star.
Oh cool!
Yeah,
and,
but
and look at
that's
this.
something
That's
good. There we
neat.
go.
It's a
That's
TIE
good one.
bomber.
Whoa!
Awesome, right there, and a lightsaber.
You're holding it wrong.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Might sting a little.
Oh, hey, look at this. Oh, look at this box here, full of goodies.
Ooh,
Oh, the Mandalorian symbol.
that's fun.
And what kind of creature is that?
I want to say Mithril. That's not right. That's the blue guy from Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I thought Mithril was the silver that they use in Lord of the Rings, that other trilogy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
All right, but today we're
Mythosaur.
here. Guess what? Today we're here to talk classic Marvel Star Wars Comics annual.
King
Woo!
size annual.
King size annual. That's exciting. All right, hold on. Get rid of that. Oh, that's what I did. Bing. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to. There we go. That's better. Okay. Want to make sure it looks good for y'all. All
We'll
right.
be going. So, if you haven't read this issue, we'll be going through the panels.
Mhm.
So it's like you're reading it for the first time, digitally,
Indeed. So,
with us
what do you guys think?
as
Should
a
we-
commentator.
Okay, we're gonna sound echoey in this podcast, but that's okay. All right, so Richard.
Wait, hold on, Courtney. Do we
Yes.
sound echoey right now? But we're going through the microphones.
Well, we're going through the mic. I'm
But
sure
they're-
it'll sound a little echoey. Well, I'm definitely sound echoey there. But like the microphones, so when you speak, just be careful of Yoda.
Baby
That's
Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda. Or Grogu.
All right.
I still prefer Baby Yoda. I just can't.
Or the
Okay.
child.
I know.
Call him the asset, the
Yeah,
package.
exactly. All right. So speak a little bit, Chris.
All
You're
right.
excited about this issue.
Well, I am excited about the issue, especially
Okay.
the cover, because my very first thought when I was 15 years old, seeing this sitting on the display when I was about to purchase it and open it, was, Those idiots don't know how to draw. Tatooine only has 2 suns.
Wow.
What the heck? They don't
Alright.
know what they're doing. That was
Alright.
literally my first thought seeing this comic.
Now I really should have pressed record, 'cause that was good.
He can retell that story.
It is the room. Okay, so we are going to record though on these microphones, so when we put out the podcast episode, it'll be better.
It's all nice and polished.
So I just hit the record button. Woo!
So there's
Hello.
no turning back.
No turning back now. All right, so I'm going to attempt not to touch this cord as I record. So, Richard, do you want to start us off?
I would love nothing more.
Okay.
Here we go. Long ago, in a galaxy far, far away, there exists a state of cosmic civil war. A brave alliance of underground freedom fighters has challenged the tyranny and oppression of the awesome galactic empire. This is their story. And that is how Marvel Comics began every one of their 107 issues of their original Star Wars comic series, as well as their king-size annuals, which is what we'll be breaking down today. As well as their king-size annuals, which is what we'll be breaking down today. But before I go there, I want to say hey to everyone. I am Richard Woloski, and I want to welcome everyone to Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics. I am here to take you through these classic stories, share memories of reading these comics as a kid, and to get you caught up on these characters and situations that every Star Wars fan must know. Because, as we noted, there are several connections and parallels to the current films, comics, and novels. Like in this story, this one here has a prequel, a Clone Wars prequel, written in 2005. That came out in 2015. So wrap your head around that. Now, in this episode, we're going to break down the first of the 3 king-sized annuals. This one is titled The Long Hunt. And now, here with me is my sweetie wife, Sarah, who is only 15 issues away from being born when The Long Hunt was released in 1979.
He's just going to keep doing that countdown, isn't he?
I love that ongoing tally.
Yes, that's right. I wasn't born until 81, okay? It was post Empire Strikes Back.
Hard to believe.
All right, well, hey, Skywalkers. Thank you for joining us on this podcast series where we break down each issue of the vintage Star Wars comic series that ran from 1977 to 1986. It is so illuminating for me because I'm reading all of these for the first time and sharing my 21st century response to these comics, as well as some artistic thoughts. Now, we're excited to get into The Long Hunt, but first, we have to introduce our very... Siri?
What does
My
she
goodness.
find on the web?
I don't... Oh, you know what? I didn't look. I just turned her off.
Okay.
But now we are excited to get into The Long Hunt, but first we have to introduce our very special guest, Star Wars origami author, Chris Alexander.
Hey, Chris!
Hey, Skywalkers.
Hey,
Hey.
welcome back to Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics. It's been quite a time since we've had you on.
It's nice to be on this side of the screen. To see all the behind-the-scenes outtakes and mistakes as they happen live.
Well, everyone's watching that right now.
Isn't it fun?
That's no secret.
Yeah, in fact, if you guys are listening to this as a podcast episode, we did record this live at Chris's house. But it's so you can go to our YouTube channel, Skywalking Through Neverland YouTube, and see us record live, and you can see the Star Wars or the comic book pages as we talk about them, which is
All the panels.
way cool. Yes.
All right, Chris. Whenever we sit down with you, you're always folding paper.
I'm folding my shirt at the moment.
You're folding paper as we speak. So when you were reading this issue, just when you were doing research for this episode, did anything here jump out at you like, hey, I've got to make that into origami?
Well, not exactly. The winged creatures, I have an issue with I think they did a lazy job naming stuff in this issue. That's a cat person. We'll call him a cat person. And look, there's a flying person. We'll call him a flying person. Anyway, so the flying people in this one, they're very much like angels that I had designed for a different project. So I might actually do a little twisting of the skirt and turn it into one of the angel. What do they call them? The sky
The
creatures?
sky trees.
Sky trees. That's it. Yeah. Sky
Oh, is that how you
trees.
say it?
I don't know, but I'll go with that.
There's a lot of apostrophes in some of these names,
Oh.
so I read it as sky tree.
Yeah.
So they took a note from Timothy Zahn,
Or
Timothy
or
Zahn
vice
took a
versa.
note- yes, actually, I have a note about that later. How Timothy Zahn might have actually read this comic book.
Hmm. Well, okay. Anything else?
Other than that, there was nothing that leapt out at me. There were a few things that I'm like, that could be done, but no one would recognize it's a Star Wars thing. Like Leia uses a Pez dispenser as a blaster, and it just, no.
Excuse me. I think I would have recognized it and said, "Oh, Chris, that's a deep cut," but I know where that's from. That's from The Long Hunt, isn't it? All right, now, Chris, let's go back to 1979 when this issue came out. Do you remember getting this issue?
I remember going to my little candy store. Every Saturday and Tuesday, he'd put out his new issues. He'd lay them out on a little counter, and you'd put them on little stacks. There were no racks. And this issue sitting there, here's the cover. And I remember seeing this issue and thinking, the idiots that drew this, Tatooine only has 2 suns, not this plethora of suns. What the heck? You know, I want quality with my comic books. On the other hand, I was also super excited to get a double-sized issue in the same month as a regular-sized issue. It's like 3 issues in 1 month. Oh, it was like crack for a crack addict. It was awesome.
So, were you like me, where you just looked at the pictures, or did you actually read these books?
I actually read them. There's a spoiler at the end of this that gave me goosebumps, and look, little goosebumps even thinking about it now. And it's different thinking about it now with what's actually canon as opposed to what they knew back then.
Mhm.
I'll talk about that later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
Now, we always plan to have you on as a guest at some point to record this particular issue, because how long has it been since you said, Rich, when you do the annuals, I've got to be there? So I thought, hey, you know what? We're in Chris's neighborhood today. Let's record this and then post it when the actual issue came out in the comic schedule. It just so happens that this issue came out right after the Jawa Express. And what was the last issue we had broken down? The Jawa Express. So this was meant to happen. So I'm very, very excited for this episode.
Yeah.
All right, now, Sarah, go ahead and read the synopsis for The Long Hunt.
Okay. Now, before I read the synopsis, let's explain. Did you just explain this?
No.
Okay. All right, before I read the synopsis, Richard, why don't you explain what these king-size issues are?
All right, these are one-shot stories, got nothing to do with the other storylines in the regular series, and they're about double issues, or like an issue and a half, and there are 3. There's 3 of these Star Wars annuals. There's one that came out in 79, one in 1981, and then one in 1983.
So they skipped a couple years there.
Yes. So you can maybe...
They're Star Wars annuals?
Yeah,
They were
or...
more like kind of annuals.
Wait a minute. The don't bothers. They're the don't bother annuals, kind of.
Yeah, you could say that.
There's your Mighty Ducks reference for the day.
So we'll have to come back here, Chris, to do the next annual.
What, in 3 years?
Yeah, so put it in your schedule.
All right, I'll
3
get it
years
in my
from now.
calendar.
All right, get onto Google Docs and write this down now. All right, now this annual is split into 2 parts. The first is titled The Long Hunt, and the second part is titled A Duel of Eagles.
All right, so here we go. This is what happens. While Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia are on the planet Tehran, they are attacked by a group of Cataman warriors under the orders of Karis, the magistrix of the planet Sky. Han Solo recognizes the description of Karis from his old smuggling days and decides to confront her. But the Millennium Falcon is shot down over Sky by Imperials. Han Solo jettisons Luke and Leia to safety. However, they are captured and brought to trial before the Supreme Council of the Highland clans. And there, Leia is recognized as an enemy of the Empire, but Luke is recognized as the son of their wingless brother who helped them a while back, and so the council decides to help the 2 rebels. All right. Meanwhile, Han and Chewbacca... Oh, I'm sorry. Meanwhile...
Meanwhile...
Thank you.
Chris?
Meanwhile,
Chris, come on.
Sorry.
You can
Well,
do that
you
better.
can do better than that.
Meanwhile,
Read it like Ted Knight.
meanwhile,
There you go.
There you go. Han and Chewbacca have been captured by Karis and questioned about what they know about Luke Skywalker. Luke and Leia, along with their Skytree allies, attack the Magistrix's fortress and rescue Solo and Chewbacca. Now a great battle begins with the prize being freedom of the Skytree people.
Any questions?
Wait, okay, so wait a minute.
There's a lot of names, a lot of titles in here.
I just have to say that I think I did pretty well with Magistrix's fortress.
I was impressed.
I was very impressed because even going through the notes here, I kept messing up, trying to pronounce in my head Magistrisk. So I'll be fumbling over that word as we go.
Okay.
All right, so The Long Hunt came out December the 4th, 1979. So this is the last issue of the 1970s.
Ooh.
And it's written by Chris Claremont, artwork by Mike Vosberg, Steve Lealoha.
It's Lealoha. Come on, Lealoha. What a name.
Steve Lealoha.
I bet that was
and
easy to grow up with.
yeah, Steve Lealoha and Bob Sharon. So that explains a lot about the artwork in this issue.
All new artists.
All new characters, you'd think. Cover art by Walt Simonson.
Nice.
All right, so now let's go over this cover.
Okay.
We see the back of Luke Skywalker as he brandishes his lightsaber against 3 incoming attackers that look like they're straight out of a fantasy novel. Many circles of color float in the background.
All right, and I just have to say that right now, since we are live, we have people in the Sky Chat who are sharing their thoughts on the cover. So as we share our thoughts, please, if you're there watching us live, share your thoughts. I see some comments already. But first, let's go over, Chris, your thoughts on this cover.
So I mentioned my first thought is the idiots were drawing Tatooine and completely blew the number of suns. My other thought was this came out a little bit after a year, correct my math, after the Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yes.
And I loved that book. I think I read it three times at this point because it was the only Star Wars material outside of the movies. And there were the Yuzum, 2 creatures that befriended Luke in that. And they're described as furry humanoids. And my first thought, again, looking at this cover, was they're supposed to be on Luke's side. Why are they attacking? What's the deal with them? They're supposed to be helping him out. Wow, what are they doing in this? It was very confusing. Now, looking back on it at this time, I just think Luke's at a disco.
Ah, that's funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. He and John Travolta.
Yeah, right?
John Travolta would
If a
fit really well in
lightsaber-
this.
It's not even a lightsaber he's holding. He's just kind of holding up a disco ball.
Okay, so you like the cover.
The cover is very attractive. It does not give away any spoilers as to the very convoluted story held within. I couldn't imagine what you would put on the cover to give any hint as to what was inside it.
Yeah, there's nothing. This is a very deep story. All right, Sarah, what are your thoughts on this cover?
Okay, well, to me, I mean, this definitely looks like Luke Skywalker, even though we don't see his face, we just see the back of him. But it looks like Luke Skywalker is facing off with 2 werewolves, and Maleficent if she had a punk rock vibe and green skin. I mean,
If Maleficent worked at Hot Topic, she'd look like that.
there you go. And also, I feel like we have left the world of the space western behind and now are heading into the fantasy realm. So Star Wars plus fantasy, right? I mean, these look like fantasy creatures. And the red circle sun that, it's like gigantic, as big as Luke is, it looks very foreboding to me. So, I mean, blood red, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing this cover does is make me very curious and wants me to turn the page. So I think it does its job in that way.
Great. Now, I recall seeing this issue for the first time at John's, the convenience store down the street from my house, and it was in the first rack of this big wall of comics they had. So this was like the first issue. When you walked in the store, you saw this, and I saw this and collapsed. Look at this. Yeah, you have Luke Skywalker. He's brandishing a lightsaber, so there's some great lightsaber action coming our way. And it looks like he's going to battle 2 werewolves and a vampire.
Yep.
That's what I thought. I loved creatures and monsters when I was a kid, so this excited me to no end. Luke is going over into the Universal Studios franchise.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And I like these circle patterns in the background, especially the big red fiery ball in the center. This just drew me right in.
Okay, I can see that you would love this as a kid. And since you looked at comics just for the pictures, I mean, you're all over this.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, so we put this cover in our Facebook group and our page and asked everyone to comment on it. And we always love doing this. Love hearing your thoughts and your comments. So let's start off with Brian.
With our Sky Chat.
Oh, we'll go to Sky Chat too. So we'll go back and forth, okay?
Okay.
From the Facebook comments to the Sky Chat, because people in the Sky Chat, they get a thing or two to say.
Okay.
All right. So Brian Babcock says Luke really wants us to look at his backside. Yes, he does. Are those red, orange, and green circles supposed to be planets? At least Luke doesn't have a red lightsaber.
Oh, good
Okay,
point.
some pros and cons there.
Yeah. All right, so I want to read here Courtney Turkel here in the Sky Chat. My first thought about the cover is it has weird monsters that aren't usually in Star Wars. And I think that's everyone's first thought.
Yeah.
Whether you like that or whether you don't is another story.
I thought they were in Star Wars. I thought they were Yuzums.
Nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Randall Gobey says, king size issue, you say? The lions must be really good hunters to attack Luke without any weapons, just like Ponda Baba versus Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but as we know in this issue, these Cataman warriors are like the most fierce warriors in the galaxy.
Yes.
So they don't need no weapons.
According to the narration.
Yes.
All right, now Corwin of Amber here in the Sky Chat says, I would have thought that Luke had slipped universes and was getting ready to fight some Kazin. K-Z-I-N. Do we know what that is? Also, she says Luke on Krypton. That's what it looks like to her.
Oh, okay.
That's a good suggestion too. But we don't know what Kazin are, or even if we're saying that right. So Corwin of Amber, please let us know.
All right, Scott Bowman says, wow, this Star Wars Thundercats crossover was really ahead of its time. I'm not really aware of the Thundercats, but looking at these two Cataman warriors, I can see that.
Yes.
All right, Matt Scott, or Schott.
Shot.
Matt Schott says, Walt Simonson is awesome. This book is so big, it has a spine.
Oh.
Wait, Chris, hold up your issue. Does this have a spine?
Yeah, not really. It's not really that much bigger than a regular issue. See, there we go.
Oh, it's kind of a spine there.
It's a little bit, but
it's more than a fold.
It's more than.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
Yeah. All right.
Chris,
Oh, I'm sorry.
take
It's
that
got like an eighth
away
inch,
from Sarah.
It's got an 1/8-inch spine. I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Very
Could you
close.
Google search therapy for me? I'm gonna do
How much to replace this on eBay?
Actually, this is now a very, very rare, exclusive Star Wars item, touched by Sarah.
Oh.
I mean, how many things
None.
are there?
None. No vintage collectible in our house has been touched by Sarah.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Meredith Duckworth says, is that Zeb's species?
Oh, that's
see?
a good
She's
call
thinking they
out.
look like Lasat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, very good pull.
All right, Corwin of Amber, this just in. Kazin from the Larry Niven Kaizen Wars.
This must be a sports thing or a Lord of the Rings thing.
She
Well, I
links to
know
a
who Larry
Wikipedia,
Niven
but I
is.
can't. I
Who's
can't
Larry
get the-
Niven?
He's an author.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So there you go. Thank
wasn't
you.
he on MASH?
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right. All right, let's wrap it up with
James Rowan.
Sarah, take it away.
So he says, I kind of liked it, even with the disco-y balls all over the place. We got some aliens that looked like they belonged in Star Wars, and as a bonus, with Luke facing away from us, we weren't reminded of how badly they misdrew him back then. I am curious, though, when did shins start bending in the middle?
All right, first of all,
Oh.
James, you're going to be very pleased with the artwork in this issue.
Yes.
Second of all, Yeah, Luke's shin is double jointed.
Now,
It
once you
is.
point that out, you can't not see it.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, James. Thanks a lot.
and Luke's Buster Brown hairstyle.
Oh my goodness.
Love it. All right, now
He looks
let's
like He-Man still.
Yeah.
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 all right now let's jump into our initial thoughts on this issue. And Chris, since you are our guest, tell us your initial thoughts.
All right, so I remember reading this back in the 70s as a 15-year-old. Yes, I'm that old. And thinking this was the greatest comic series of all time. Now I'm a little struck by a few problems on this issue that they have a saying in the movies, show, don't tell, and this issue tends to do exactly the opposite. And page 9 is a quote. It's just like nails on a chalkboard. The quote is, Leia doesn't reply, and for the umpteenth time, Luke Skywalker thinks of his attraction to she. And what? An attraction to she? Who's editing this book? I was young and impressionable at that time, and I might have ended up talking like this the rest of my life. That would be embarrassing.
Nice.
I also love the idea of a brand new character, Kata. There's a lot of cat and sky.
Katya?
Yeah, cat.
Katya.
Kata, cat humans, cat people, cat furry. And
Yeah.
then sky-y things, sky-fly-y things. It's like they were really lazy naming stuff in this. Anyway, I thought it was really cool to introduce a new character. We'll get to see maybe a little thing going on where that love triangle between Luke, Han, and Leia now has a fourth that maybe... Nope, we're going to smoke her off in a few panels later, and I was very disappointed.
Oh, spoiler!
Yeah, no
spoiler.
kidding.
No, forget you heard that. You did not hear that. You did not hear that. And the artwork is a huge improvement over the previous issues. They look like people as opposed to weird stick drawy thingies.
Mad Magazine impressions.
And someone I remember as a kid making a comment that it looks like he draws everything with a T-square. I don't remember who said that, who they were referring to, but everything up to that kind of applies. But this one, the exteriors of the Falcon actually looks like the Falcon. The interiors, though, reminded of the TARDIS because there's no way they could fit that much space inside of the Falcon. But it was still great to see some actual people that looked more like the characters from the movies than some randomly drawn things.
Oh, then you two will really love this issue.
Yes. Yes.
All right, Sarah.
Okay, so yes, my first impression of this issue was, whoa, who is doing the faces? Who is the artist? It's someone different, I can tell, because because here is Han Solo, who kind of actually looks like Han Solo. They got his nose right.
I didn't know Han had a very distinctive nose.
Oh, he has such a distinctive nose. And Leia, her eyes. Like, there's a couple panels where I could swear that Carrie Fisher is, like, staring out at us.
Oh.
Which is, I almost got a little teary on one that had a close-up. I was like, oh, look, oh, man. So they did a really good job. And I just say, you know, like, it's not just these 70s caricatures of manly men with their strong jawlines and arched eyebrow women, right? So I love the artwork, but overall the issue, it was an interesting storyline, a little convoluted, but there was like way too much narration for my taste. But I can definitely tell what's happening at all times, including what each character is thinking. So I do appreciate that.
Mhm.
There is a balancing act there.
Okay, well, my impressions are pretty much what the two of you have already covered. Yes, this is a very convoluted story, but it has a nice flow that leads back to the Clone Wars, which got me really, really excited because there's authors out there that really admire these comics as much as we do. And the fact that these characters look like the actual characters this time because of these new artists helped you see Luke as Luke and Han as Han, and we get Chewbacca in this issue. First time ever.
Because his face is covered with the right fur.
Right. And Chris alluded to a character in this issue that gives a small piece of backstory and then disappears, no pun intended. And I think it's their way to show an interracial relationship. In the 70s, that was becoming quite a thing, especially after Star Trek really kicked that off.
Right.
And now we're starting to delve into that in the Star Wars galaxy. And this character didn't add anything, so they could have presented her information in a different way, and then maybe keep that one character and bring her back for her own story arc.
That's what they would do now. But
Yes.
they did not do that
No.
back then,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah.
All right, so we're kind of all on agreement here.
Same page, yes.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone, get ready because this is really a dense issue with a dense story.
Yeah, and it's a double issue, so here we go, everyone.
All right,
The
so
Long Hunt.
we open up in a very bizarre marketplace on the planet Tehran. Luke and Leia are doing some light shopping, and Luke says, "You know, Princess, I'm glad Han had to put down the Millennium Falcon in here for supplies. I've been cooped up too long on starships. I was starting to go batty." Now, let's stop there. What do you think about using those kind of terms in Star Wars? Like going batty. That's more of an Earth term thing.
There's a couple of those kind of references in here. There's
Yeah.
one that I made a note of that I'm going to rib you about later.
Okay, like, we're on the first page already. I got a gripe.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I just don't think that they should be using terms like going batty. It's very, very period.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That makes
Unless
sense.
you're talking about Roy Batty from Blade Runner, let's just cut that line. All right, so Sarah, go ahead and explain this splash page.
Okay. Woo. Thank you, Alex. Well, okay, so it's a really neat page. We have a lot of aliens. We have this big, bizarre marketplace. And right in the center are Luke and Leia in white. So you can't miss them. And they are surrounded by a colorful mirage of aliens here. And, you know, there's blue, purple, brown, orange aliens. Leia is checking out some red fabric.
Danger foreshadowing.
And then there's one woman who's right next to Leia to the left of her. You'll see her in our live stream here. And she's wearing, well, okay, so you have it depicted as a 1950s hairdryer.
Yeah, in my notes, I have that she's wearing a 1950s hairdryer. You know, the ones you see in the 1950s and 60s where you have like a whole row of women
Right.
sitting underneath these big giant vacuums.
Okay.
That's what she's wearing right over there. Look at her.
Well, I think that's her head. That's her skull.
That's not
I
her
think-
skull.
No, if you look at
She's
it.
wearing a hairdryer.
No,
Wait.
no.
Let's check the source.
Okay. Well, it looks like this is a look. I think it's a precursor to Leiku. It's almost a precursor to Ahsoka.
See,
Like,
I'd say it's a hat.
Yes. Richard is vehemently shaking his head.
No.
I'd say it's a weird hat.
It is
because
a weird
kind of-
hat.
you can see it kind of fitting over her eyebrows.
Okay, now Chris here, Mason agrees with you guys. He likes the blue and white helmet, which is what it kind of looks like too.
Yeah.
But I feel like that could be her actual skull,
And then
in my opinion.
Look what Chris Mason is saying.
No.
No.
What is he saying no to?
In the Sky Chat, Chris Mason is saying no to you because
Whatever.
that's not her head.
what about
That's a helmet.
what
Okay,
about
he thinks it's a
Thanos in the
helmet.
top left?
Oh, the orange dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of looks like that too. Wow. Well, there's some fun. Well, okay.
Well, you know what? Speaking of that woman
The
with the
blue?
hairdryer,
Yes.
she's breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, is
She's
she?
looking right at the reader.
Okay, well, I think she's cute. I think she's the cutest one here with her cute little outfit, and I like it.
Yeah, it's like those extras in movies that look right at the camera.
Yeah,
She's like one of those.
I think she's cute. Chris is saying it's not a head. Fine, Chris,
All right, you know what?
whatever.
Next celebration, that's what you're cosplaying as.
Oh!
The woman in the hairdryer head.
And bonus points to anybody
Okay.
who recognizes you.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be, like, amazing. Wow.
All right, now there's a lot of depth here.
Yes.
It looks like Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, it does.
There's a lot of tiers, and this is a hustle and bustle of a marketplace because there's people and aliens everywhere.
Mhm.
Actually, there's only 3 people, and the rest are aliens.
That's
There's Luke, Leia, and Hairdryer Head.
Who is actually a creature with a blue and white skull. I'm just saying.
Do you think there'll be a toy eventually?
Someone call Hasbro, or Gentle Giant, or Sideshow. This has got to happen. All right.
Lego.
Now, with the billions of people in the galaxy, what are the chances of Luke and Leia being spotted by Imperials or informants? Answer: a very good chance.
Because this is a comic book issue and stuff needs to happen.
Now, a blue alien spots them and checks them out on his iPhone and says, "By the 7 moons of Scardus, it's them. 2 of those the tyrant seeks. And if the female and the youth are here, Han Solo cannot be too far away. I must notify the tyrant at once. Now, just to let you know, there is no Fatum fast fact for Scardus. This is the one and only appearance or mention of Scardus by the 7 moons of Scardus.
Well, right now.
Right, as of now.
As
there's a
of
couple
now.
The day is young.
Yes. Okay, well, that's fun.
All right, now, Sarah, explain this, or Chris, do you want to take this over? Explain this insert right over here. The blue alien is looking into his iPhone device.
Okay.
All right.
I
So
didn't look that closely at it. Let me check the original source.
okay.
Yeah, he's looking at a green screened blue iPhone.
Okay, now, but explain to us the image in the upper right-hand top corner.
Oh, that's supposed to be his device. Is that what that's
Yes.
supposed to be?
Oh, okay. I just thought it was a really cool kind of, hey, these are the people, in case you weren't familiar with Star Wars, Chewie,
Right.
Han, Leia, and Luke. That's kind of what they look like.
That's what I was getting from that.
Yeah, I
Alright.
didn't realize that was supposed to be. So kudos to him for somehow managing to recognize on a 4-inch screen 4 faces in a huge, massive crowd and go, wait, look, that's them. That's them.
Yeah, and do you notice the Thor crossover here? All these floating heads,
They're on the Rainbow
they're
Bridge.
on the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh, it's so 70s. Look at that.
Yeah, so the top half of the background is the star field, lower half is the Rainbow Bridge from Thor.
And then we have floating heads.
mm-hmm.
I love it.
All right, let's move on here. As Luke and Leia continue their stroll, Luke says, all my life I've heard tales of the Great Tehran Fair, but I never thought I'd get to visit it. Then Leia asks if he likes what he sees. Okay, now, what she's referring to is a
Ooh.
scantily clad, very tall woman.
Yes.
Sarah, take this over.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
So Luke, okay, well you
Okay.
read Luke.
I'll tell you what Luke is saying here. Luke is saying, well, that outfit looks a little daring to me. On Tatooine, she'd be asking for a bad case of sunburn or a wind scar.
But Leia says, but this isn't Tatooine, Luke. Actually, that gown's a little demure for my tastes.
And Luke's thought bubble says, what?
Insert face palm here.
Oh my god, so let's catch people up on what she's
Okay,
wearing
but
here.
what does Leia say next?
Leia says, I was wondering how long it would take you to notice.
All right. Let's break this down in the male-female perspectives here.
Okay, so first of all, what the scantily clad woman is wearing is even scantier clad than Pretty Woman, the outfit that she wears in Pretty Women when she's walking the streets, right? So
So what are you saying? What profession does this woman have?
Well, exactly. It kind of looks like the top of that outfit, but the bottom is it's like a monokini with like this barest hint of a gown on down one leg, but the rest of her is like completely open, right?
Right.
Except for the monokini thing.
All right, but let's dive into the psychology here.
Okay.
Leia, she knows that Luke has got a little thing for her.
Oh, absolutely.
But she's pointing the scantily clad woman out,
Right.
and as Chris Mason says in the Sky Chat, it's Gina Davis.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
what?
Yeah, I can see
why,
that.
why is Leia pointing this woman out to Luke?
So Leia is testing Luke. She's testing his, like, how much he likes her by kind of showing off another woman and seeing what he does with that.
Okay, I don't see that at all.
What do you think?
What I see is that she has a thing for Han. Luke is in the friend zone, so she's pointing out other women to Luke, wanting Luke to notice other women.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
and get focus off of me, Luke. Focus on Gina Davis.
Okay.
And I would go with she's fishing for compliments.
Who Leia is?
Yeah, Leia's like, does that look good? Expecting Luke to, no, princess, you are much prettier and
Yeah.
sexier.
Oh, we are all over the board on this one. Okay, Luke, Chris. let's turn the tables here. Why is Luke responding this way?
Because he's an idiot.
He's very young and
Yes.
immature,
Yes.
but I think he's not gonna go. I think Luke knows what's going on here. He's not gonna go gaga over Gina Davis. And he's gonna say, yeah, she's all right, I guess. And
Right.
oh, look at that outfit, ugh, because he's got something for her,
Right.
and he's saving the compliments for her.
Mhm.
Okay, that sounds good. I would probably have gone to that defense if I was in his position.
Yeah, because he's talking about, hey, you know what? Look at this.
Windburn?
Yeah,
Really?
lady,
Windburn?
put some layers on, okay? Because you're not gonna survive out in the Tatooine desert.
But Luke is, asking Leia, wait, you're joking, aren't you? And that's when Leia says, I was wondering how long it would take you to notice that
But-
I'm joking.
But there is one little thing here,
Mhm.
if you think about it. If you look carefully at that costume that's a little demure for Leia, I think she was telling the truth because she wore something even skimpier in Return of the Jedi.
Well, that
Right, but
wasn't
that's
her
not
choice.
Oh, I'm just saying, she
Yeah.
wore it.
Jabba didn't say,
Alright.
okay, here's a big closet full of outfits. Pick whatever you like.
Right. No.
And she picked the one that had the most cloth in it, and that was. But it's
Right.
still covered more or less than the blue outfit this woman's wearing. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I'm not judging. I'm just saying.
You know, I guess I've been in Luke's position before, so I know exactly what he's doing, and he's very young.
Yes.
He
the
doesn't know how
proper
to.
response at that point, he should have said, "Do you want to just go back to the Falcon now and start arguing?"
Well, Luke should have gone all gaga over her, maybe making Leia a little jealous.
Yeah.
By going a little too
turn
much.
The tables back around.
Yeah, call her bluff.
Mhm.
So there's a lot going on in this one panel.
All right. Oh, Corwin of Amber wants to weigh in. I get that she is just needling him. She is pulling a power trip and playing on his naivety. Yeah, that's kind of what I was going for a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that,
She's
that
testing
too.
him a little
So once again, there's a lot going on in that one panel.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, now in the foreground, we see that snitch character, and he's looking right at the reader.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a lot of breaking that fourth wall in this issue.
Mhm.
I can almost hear him going.
Wah, wah, wah. Now suddenly, the crowd parts, and a winged woman and two Cataman warrior guards approach. The guard says, "Hey, Chris, read this line."
The guard says, "Stand aside, grubbers. Make way for the magistrates of Sky."
Oh, read it again.
Do I have to? Oops. Oh, stand aside.
Okay.
No, good
Okay,
grief, I
ready,
can't even
and
read.
there you
I'm
go.
actually reading it as English. Stand thou aside, grubbers. Make way for the magistrates of Sky.
Stand thou aside.
I want to repeat something that I think Harrison Ford once said.
Nah.
It was Mark Hamill.
No, it's Harrison Ford.
You can write this stuff.
Yep.
You can
write
type this S.
Shamrocks.
You just can't say it. Very much applies here.
You can type this shiitake.
Yeah, there you go.
Shiitake.
These shamrocks. Now, these Cataman warriors are said to be among the deadliest killers in existence.
How do we know this?
Because it says it right there.
All this narration.
All right, let me try to get through this. As
Okay.
the you know that little
Majesty?
that little superhero, that little villain in Superman, Mr. Mixoplix?
Yeah, Mixoplixit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like this. As the Magistrisk is passing Leia, she deliberately bumps into her.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and
It's
Luke
hip
doesn't
hop
like this
here.
one bit. See, Luke is coming to her aid. He wants to be there for Leia. All right, so Luke doesn't like this one bit, but Leia tells him to just let it go. Do not draw attention to ourselves. Let it go. So Luke then sees a money pouch on the ground and picks it up. In the Magic Strix, she sees him and thinks Luke just pickpocketed her and commands her guards to slay them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Faster than even Luke thought possible, he ignites his lightsaber and slashes one of the guards.
Yay,
Look
Han
at
shot
that.
first. No, Luke shot first. Wait.
Okay, now this was kind of surprising here when he slashes one of the guards. Like some of the narration here says, and the guard got what was coming to him, or something to that effect. It was very
Well, he was going to slay Luke.
got his reward, I
Yeah.
guess. But
Luke is on the defensive. You know
we
what?
didn't know he was going to kill him. He may have been taken for a ride. in the
Slay
snow.
him.
Take him for a little, jingle bells.
This is not the
some
North
eggs.
Pole. There's no snow here. They're not going for a sleigh bell ride.
I'm
right.
just saying, Luke may have jumped to conclusions here.
Yeah, I think Luke would get off in court. I'm just saying.
All right, so now we see the bigger plot as the Magistrix says in a thought bubble, "Excellent young one, though you do not know it yet, the long hunt has begun. You and Princess Leia will lead me straight to Han Solo. And this time, he will not escape. And when the hunt is done, you will all die slowly by my hands.
That's exactly how I heard.
I'm
Oh,
scared.
nice,
I
yeah.
was getting into
Wow.
it. You messed me
I
up.
didn't realize she had this inside her. I'm
That's-
a little worried now.
That's how I heard her voice when I was reading this. Wow, she even threw in that maniacal laugh.
Oh, it just rolled right out.
It did.
Too
All right.
easily, if you ask me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, she's been there. All right, Luke and Leia race through the streets until they are cornered. One warrior knocks Luke out cold, and the other goes to capture Leia when a big furry arm strikes out from an alleyway, knocking him out. Then Han Solo blasts the other guard with a...
Vado!
Luke shouts, "The Force be praised! Han Solo and Chewbacca!" What?
Thanks, Luke.
The Force be praised.
Yeah, that's
Where
odd.
does this come from?
I'm not sure.
You know what? Hey, they're taking liberties. I can appreciate that. But tell me here, what makes this Chewbacca different from the other Chewbaccas we've seen in the past in the Marvel comics?
He has fur
On
everywhere.
On his face.
On his face.
He no longer looks like the Sasquatch from $6 Million Man.
No.
All right, so they make it
I'm
back.
gonna miss the Sasquatch.
What's that?
I'm gonna miss the Sasquatch.
Oh, do,
I'm not.
do you need a minute?
I do. Okay, we're good. Move
Okay,
on.
good. Now, they make it back to the Falcon, where Han tells them that if it weren't for R2 and 3PO who tapped into the spy eyes, they wouldn't have known they were in trouble. Big Brother is watching.
Mm.
All right, suddenly, Han hears something outside. He opens the Falcon's door, and a woman who looks a lot like Val from Solo: A Star Wars Story, she jumps into Han's arms, and Han shouts, "Moons of Yavin, Katya!"
Moons of Yavin.
Whoa!
And Han introduces his old friend Katya, Blue, to Luke and Leia. Hey, guess what? There's a Fatum fast fact here.
Woohoo! All right. So I was excited to see Katya, but let's hear about your Fatum fast fact.
All right. Now, the character Arwen Cole in the 2003 novel Cloak of Deception was originally named Margrave Blue. That's M''Buele. Buell.
Buell. Like Bueller.
Yeah, okay. I was saying Buell.
And Buell.
Okay. Buell.
And Buell.
Margrave and Buell.
Okay.
Okay, and
So it's Katya and Buell?
Yes.
Margrave and Buell.
okay.
All right.
So this character, Margrave and Buell, was written as a reference to Katya and Buell.
How many
And
times can we say and Buell?
she is also mentioned in the 1998 Han Solo book, Rebel Dawn.
Oh.
Not to be confused with the Star Wars Rebels tie-in book,
Oh.
Rebel Dawn. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Whole different book. But once again, the fact that these authors are using characters from these books, from these comic books, or even the names, like Cloud Riders,
Yeah.
that was referred to in Solo: A Star Wars Story.
Mhm.
And the fact that this character's name was used in a book in 2003.
Yes.
Love that.
Now, I do have to say, this character, Katya and Buell, she reminds me so much of Sana Staros
Yes,
from
very
the
much
comics. Because even in the way she's introduced, like all of a sudden, here's this character that comes out of the blue and knows Han Solo when he's already with Leia and Luke. And so it's a very similar situation here, too. And they've obviously have a history. And same Han did with Sana Staros as well. So I thought that was neat. In fact, Sana Staros claimed to be Sana Solo and married to Han previously. So in this particular comic, Katya claimed to have a relationship with Han, but not that kind of relationship, but just like they've spent some time together, smuggling days, all that stuff. You were a pirate smuggler? You were a pirate smuggler? You were a scavenger? Yeah, we could do this all day. Exactly. So there you go.
All right, now, Luke then says to Leia, "She's a nice-looking lady. Are you jealous?" Then Luke begins to wonder how Leia truly feels about him.
Wow.
See, this crystallizes my beliefs exactly.
In
So,
what?
In the fact that
is naive.
No, in the fact that everything he does and says is always going to be centered around how does Leia feel about me.
Oh yes.
Well, like when he didn't comment on that scantily clad woman earlier, that's because he didn't want to give comment or compliments to someone else other than Leia.
Right, right. So I'm wondering, did a woman help write this comic? Because these little intricate emotional like asides seem very much like has a female touch to it.
Mm-hmm. It looks like a female had written it, and the male said, "You know what? I'll take it over from here and rewrite what you've just written." Because it's I can see where you're going with this. So it almost has that female touch, but then it looks like a male came in and just put his spin on it.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, which doesn't always exactly match what real feelings are.
Right. But I do love this love triangle setup or love
Mm.
quadrangle. Thank you. And I do have to note a panel on this page. So if you're watching here, Han Solo, they got his nose right.
You want Han Solo's nose. What is this?
Well, it's Flynn Rider with his nose right. You know, that,
Okay.
I'm referencing that. But I just it's part of his charm because it's not a perfectly straight. It's not a perfect. I don't know. It's not just the nose.
So
I mean,
it's-
look
it's-
at the lips. But he looks more like Harrison Ford here than he's ever looked.
So when you
in
say
comics.
when you comment on nose, I'm thinking Owen Wilson.
right.
He doesn't have that kind of a nose.
No, he doesn't. But it's a distinct nose, I would say. And to not just do like a random slash like they would normally do with this big giant jawline, you know, as before, you know, they're actually, you can tell they're looking at the shape of Harrison Ford's face and like trying to mimic certain features.
All right, Courtney in the Sky Chat is saying gross about the whole Luke being attracted
Well,
to Leia.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
But
at
they don't know.
this point, they don't know what's
They
going
don't
on.
know.
Mm-mm,
Yes.
mm-mm.
And then if you scroll down just a little bit, there's that one, the entire issue, and I'm stuck on this one yellow section of writing here.
This? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So-
It just
So what about this drives you nuts?
So somebody did not proofread any of it, and it says right there his attraction to she when it should say his attraction to her, and it's just like nails on a chalkboard. Just
But then go ahead and look at that artist rendition of Luke. That's Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, we don't know who it was.
Uh-huh.
But they got Mark Hamill's nose correct, and this is pre and post accident.
Right. Right.
so one thing I will say about this whole page, if you take all the exposition out and all the text out, just by looking at the introduction of the character. She jumps onto him, gives him a huge hug. The two of them are glued at the hip for the entire thing for several panels. Obviously, they have some sort of past connection. They introduce this character in a great way. They didn't need all of the, oh, here's my backstory in 12 panels or less.
Right. Very good point.
But if you want to go deeper into her backstory, she's actually a Loki. Look at the way she's dressed.
And
That's
those
true.
greens
In green and
yellows.
yellow, yes.
Wow.
She's a Loki.
Very nice.
All right, now, back to the story. Luke begins to tell Han about what happened back at the bazaar and mentions the winged woman. Katya then stops him and whispers to Han, it's her. Han says he's got to see someone and call in some favors. Han then says he's got to see someone and call in some favors. If he's not back by dawn, take the Falcon and get out. So
Jeez.
Han goes to see Lasker, who is in bed sleeping when Han points a blaster at his head. And unfortunately, there is no Fatune fast fact for Lasker.
Oh.
And this is the one and only time you ever see Lasker.
So what happens?
So Lasker suddenly wakes up. He begins rambling that he always meant to pay Han back, and Han jumps in and says, first, let's talk about a mutual acquaintance, the great tyrant Sky, who is the winged woman who bumped into Leia at the bazaar.
Right.
All right,
The
now.
Magistrix.
Yes, I didn't want to say that. Back on the Falcon, Chewie is passing the time by guarding over the Falcon, and the narration lets us know that Chewbacca is hurt that Han didn't tell him where he was going and what was happening before he left.
Do you think he's going to be even more hurt when, if he doesn't come back, the woman's going to say, oh yeah, the Falcon's mine, he said so.
Yeah, there's a whole new subplot right there. Now, as Chewie is lost in thought, he does not see the shifting smoke cloud that has seeped into the Falcon across the deck. It grows into this hulking vapor demon and finds its way into Katya's cabin.
Look how big the Falcon interior is.
That's like the size of the Death Star.
Oh,
Isn't it?
yeah.
All right, now the narration reads, its touch, meaning the hulking vapor demon,
Right.
its touch paralyzes her, leaving her conscious but helpless. Then the demon's smoky substance flows into her body. Katya's skin turns translucent. Katya's skin turns translucent, transparent, and finally fades away, and her entire body is turned to smoke and absorbed by the demon.
What?
Oh, yes.
This was so creepy. Like, this is something you read in like a horror novel or see in a horror film. And to have this happen in a Star Wars novel to a character we just met who I was excited about learning more about, like, I was pissed. I gotta say it.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed
Yeah,
off.
and this is what I meant in the beginning when you have a character, she gives you a little bit of a backstory, and then she's gone.
Yeah.
Save her for a whole story arc.
Yeah, and within a page of the comic book. She's like introduced in the page, you turn the page, she's dead.
She's gone. Just like Val in Solo, a Star Wars story.
Ah.
All right, now this disruption in the Force is felt by Luke, who draws his blaster. The creature hurls itself at him, and suddenly Chewbacca jumps on the demon, pushing it off Luke. It throws Chewie off as Leia blasts the creature, but it has no effect.
The creature begins the same torture on Luke as it did with Katya. But before there's too much effect, Luke stabs the demon with his lightsaber. The creature dies without an audible sound, yet the psychic screams that echo in Luke's mind will stay with him until he dies.
Ooh.
This is like heady stuff, man.
This is dark.
Yeah, so apparently all the souls that were trapped within the demon are finally set free.
So he's like Freddy Krueger.
Wait, why? What?
All the kids that he has killed, like, is trapped inside of him.
Oh, was that really?
That's before your time, dear.
Yes, I know. I don't watch those.
So when Freddy Krueger lifts up his shirt, you see all these heads and
Ew.
spirits floating or pushing their way out of his body. Hey, you want to see a Nightmare Before Christmas tonight?
No. Elm Street?
Nightmare Before Elm Street on Christmas.
No, neither. None.
But which one is scarier,
Oh my gosh.
Jack Skellington or Freddy Krueger?
Hmm.
All right, so Luke's mind races as he tries to figure out what that demon was. The demon as a creation of the Force, given life by someone whose power rivals Darth Vader's.
Whoa.
So he, like the demon as a creature of the Force. Why does he think that this creature is a demon of the Force?
Because it affects him. So like
But
when,
everything affects him. Doesn't matter if it's Force
Right.
related.
Well,
Creates it, makes
yeah.
it grow. Its energy
Surrounds
everywhere.
us.
It
Yes.
binds us. Yes. It's so like everything is the Force, but I
But he
think,
hasn't been told this yet.
Oh, right. Well, oh, that's true. But he does. It's probably a lot of dark energy of the Force,
Mhm.
right? The and dark midi-chlorians. Hey.
There you see. There you go.
Yeah.
That's
See,
not a
I-
midi-chlorian, that's a maxi-chlorian.
Yes.
I just wanted a way to work midi-chlorians into this conversation.
Also, before we go on, I just have to say, everyone here watching on YouTube, look at this panel right now where Luke stabs this demon creature. Oh yeah, it's here. And look at this amazing panel where Luke and Leia are in the foreground in kind of this bright black and white sepia tones, and the demon creature is over them, and the shadows are very, very dark, and the light is very, very bright. What is that called? The contrast
Mhm.
is way up.
This,
Okay.
is, this
Looks
one's
like a
my
horror film.
favorite panel from the episode.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's good stuff.
All right. So Sarah, what does Leia say to Chewbacca here?
Wait,
All right.
hold on, I have to brace myself. Go ahead.
This one?
Yes. So she's yelling out to Chewbacca to bring her some stuff.
Okay, so Leia calls out to Chewbacca, "Medicine and hot soup, quickly! And blankets, too!"
Now, I don't want to keep
I'm
stopping the story. Who is she, Sheldon, all of a sudden? Bring a hot beverage?
Oh, this is funny. This is because Luke is like in kind of this stupor, right?
Yeah, but I never knew Leia to be this maternal, nursely like figure.
No. Well, she's not. She's telling Chewie to do it. She's like, I'm too busy for this, but Chewie, you're just standing there.
All right, that's funny. All right, Han gets back and fills Leia in. Oh, all right. So now Han gets back and Leia fills him in with what just happened and the death of Katya. Leia says, "I'm sorry, Han."
Han.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Han. I knew she was your friend.
Han replies, "She was that princess, and a whole lot more."
Whoa.
With that, Han takes off and jumps the Millennium Falcon. With that, Han takes off and jumps the Millennium Falcon into hyperspace.
Now, is that with all of them in it?
Yes.
I hope
Okay.
so.
All right. I was just. Yeah.
Well, they're all in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right, now, a few days later, Han brings the Falcon to the planet Marat 5, also known as Sky.
Wait a minute. Is there a Fatum fast fact for this?
Oh, there's plenty, but that's coming up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of Fatum fast facts are rolled into this planet.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. So Han tells them a story of the last time he was there with Katya. They were there for some fast, easy takings and were captured by the Magistrist, whose name is Karis.
All right. So, Majesty. Say Majesty.
Majesty,
Say Trix.
Trix, Magistrist,
Trix.
Magistrist,
Trix.
Maleficent.
Tricks are for majesties.
There you go. All right, now they're saying that these winged creatures hunted. So now these winged creatures hunted about 20 Corellians, and only they survived. hmm
Carillion, just like Mama
It's a-
used to make.
It took a whole page to say that line. That's the backstory there.
Suddenly, a hologram from Karis appears. I'm glad they're calling her Karis, not the Magistrist anymore.
Because we can't say it.
Yes. All right. So a hologram of Karis appears, and she tells Han that he played right into her hands, and his luck just ran out.
Farewell for now. We will meet again.
And Han shouts back, "Not if I can help it." Wait a minute, isn't that why he's there? To meet up with her and for some closure?
Uh-huh.
Look
Wow.
at the face on Han.
Oh, I know.
I think Han just needed a retort. That's the only thing he came up with.
Oh, this one?
Even she's saying, "Really? Isn't that why you came to Sky to face me?" No.
Yeah.
All right. Just then, they are.
Wait. Before we go on, I want to read some Sky Chat comments here. First of all, Corwin of Amber wonders, like, when did they figure out that Karis? No, the girl was dead and not just missing since her body faded away.
Ooh, good point.
Yeah, she's dead because she was
smoked.
smoked. Yeah, at least in the comics, if you read the panel, it's pretty clear that she's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
whoa.
just walking in there, I guess seeing her clothes
Right.
on the bed and she's not there. No, the ship's only so big.
Right.
Well, apparently it's really, really, really big in this one.
Yes.
Yeah, she could be on the 3rd or 4th level. Who knows?
All right, and also, as someone in the Sky Chat wants to know, if we want to become famous, and if we want to buy followers, primes, and viewers.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
That sound good?
All
That
right,
sounds
let's,
great.
Let's buy like 50 each.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right. So
Sorry about that. All right, so
no, we say famous like pop star famous.
I don't know.
Talking like B star famous, one hit wonder famous.
15 minutes of fame.
Yeah.
Famous? Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
it.
There's a lot to answer for that.
Yes.
Just then, they are attacked by a squad of TIE fighters. Leia takes out 3, but there are a whole lot more.
Uh-oh.
They take out the Falcon's shield and sends the ship tumbling into Sky's atmosphere.
Whoa.
Just then, then Han sends Luke and Leia out in an escape pod and then races back into space where 5 TIE fighters are waiting for him.
Uh-oh.
And they pulverize the ship with blaster fire.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, this was a panel of controversy when I was in 4th grade.
Which one? This?
The one where all the TIE fighters are blasting the Millennium Falcon?
That?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Because my friends would say, "So, Rich, how many TIE fighters would it take to blast the Millennium Falcon?" and then I would say as many as it would take to lick to the center of the Tootsie Pop.
Okay.
What?
All
I see
right.
where you're going with that, but
Yeah. Okay. Didn't.
I'm sorry.
All right. So then I would say really I don't know, maybe 10. They'd say no. There's 5. Look in this comic right here. 5 TIE fighters. See, Rich, you don't know everything about Star Wars. This is an actual conversation I had in the 4th grade.
Wow.
And so when I just saw this while going through this issue, it brought back a lot of hurtful memories.
Aw. You know what also brought back some good
And then-
memories?
And then I said, you know what? In about 42 years, I'll be podcasting about this, and finally I'll have closure on this incident. I feel better about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you need a moment?
No, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
I got it all out.
All right.
I got it. It
Moving
really
on.
depends on the situation. Are the shields up? Are the shields not up? How many blasts does it take? How long is the Falcon sitting there?
Are they trying to let the thing escape so they can track it to Yavin?
Yeah. See, I didn't really
Oh.
think about all that when I was in the 4th grade.
All right, but can I bring up this panel that's right underneath your controversial panel, Richard?
Did this bring you trauma when you were in 4th grade?
No, but it brings me memories that are kind of happy or sad. It's like Carrie Fisher's eyes looking at us out of the comic.
No.
Isn't that beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
The artist just did such a great job with this issue. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, that's a great rendition of Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
All right, so we cut to Luke and Leia in a cell. Leia is catching Luke up since he's been a little fuzzy since the smoke demon almost possessed him. She lets him know that Han and Chewie are dead and the Falcon is gone.
So I want to go back to one other thing. It's the first and last time we see the droids.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, in this issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, this panel with Leia and C-3PO is really cool. I really like it.
Yeah, I like it because C-3PO looks like C-3PO.
Right? Yeah.
It's the first time ever.
Leia looks like Leia.
That's a great illustration, too.
Mhm.
All right, just then, Arag, who, when I see his name, I want to pronounce as Aragog.
Or Morag. From
Yes.
yeah,
His name is Aragh.
yeah,
Am I-
Aragog.
Am I right to say
Aragog.
Aragog?
Oh, yeah.
His name is
Harry Potter spilling over.
Aragog. All right, just then, Aragog,
We're just going to say Aragog.
Aragog, Lord of the Highlands, Patriarch of the Sky Tree, the Windborn, has come to take them to trial. If Luke or Leia ever has to repeat that, who came to get you? The big blue wind guy, something about windbreakers? I don't remember. The Patriarch of the Skywalkers, is that what he said?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't that you?
Oh.
Nice. Looks like a gargoyle. All right, so he comes to take them to trial, and Leia asks, on what charge? He responds, you are walkers. That is crime enough.
Nice.
Your presence has profaned our sacred Ares. What?
And like airy, like because they fly, so it's AERIE.
Mm-hmm.
The airy. It's like a place where birds are.
Right, but your presence has profaned our sacred Ares.
Because they're walking on the ground?
Yes, even though he's walking on the ground.
Oh,
got-
that's
They've got boots, which
Yep.
means they have an entire culture of people who make footwear so you
Yep.
may walk on stuff.
yeah, Aragog. And then he says the council will decide your fate, life or death.
Dun dun dun.
End of part 1.
Wow.
All right, so what do we think about The Long Hunt? The first part of this king-sized annual. Chris?
So I think we could have condensed this down to about 2 pages. Hey, we've got to go to Sky. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I guess.
But then we would have missed Luke and Leia
And
at Black
Katya.
Spire Outpost.
Well, yeah, but Katya, you could have just taken her out, literally, and just said,
Mm.
oh, that was the lady from Han's backstory. We have to go to Sky and solve this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, so Katya, I mean that whole smoke demon thing
And it
was
cool.
meant to kind of portray how evil and dark this woman, the Magistrix, is. So that's what I think. You know, that's why that was in there to
Okay.
show that without killing one of our main characters.
Right.
They
So-
introduced a new character and kill her off right
So
away.
you think that Katya should have been wearing a red shirt then?
Yes. Yes,
well, that would
I
have been
do.
a telltale sign that she wasn't going to last long.
Right.
And I don't know how they expected kids about 7 or 8 years old to read these names.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like twice the age I was when I first read this comic, and I'm having trouble with these names.
It's true. So, Richard, what did you think of this?
I like the story. I think it's really fun. It's convoluted, but it's in depth. You can tell there was some thought put behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the characters, and I like where it's going to.
Right.
It's very Planet of the Apes. You come into our territory, our existence, and you're gonna be put on trial, and guess what? You're already guilty.
Oh, yeah. Well, or Star Trek. Honestly, there's a lot of trials in
Yeah.
Next Generation. But, okay, so what I thought about it, I thought it was interesting comic. You have your overarching plot, but then you had a lot of these moments of character building and kind of that love triangle thing going on and
Oh yeah,
some emotional build-up there. I thought was really nice.
the triangle between Luke, Leia, and Han. Even though
Mhm.
Han doesn't really know it,
Right.
the conversation between Luke and Leia is priceless.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on there,
I agree.
and I'm sure they had written and rewritten those sequences quite a few times, just to get it down to what it was, because you can tell, even though it was rewritten by a guy, that some thought had gone behind there about the psychology of Luke and Leia and Luke.
Right.
And I really appreciate that.
They just kind of left out the whole Han part of the triangle. He barely even factors into it, or at least his side of what's going on.
Hmm
I would like to see just a hint of some of that. Maybe Han needling Luke about him being jealous, and then Katya shows up and is like, "Oh yeah, look what I got over here." No, they just kind of blew all that off.
See, that's why that needed a whole story arc of itself.
It definitely did.
So I like getting into the inner workings of Luke and Leia's minds here.
Yes.
All right, with that, let's get into part 2, A Duel of Eagles.
All right, pause it. I want to stop this recording and then start the new one. Just
Okay.
so we have.
Did you record any of that?
All right, starting a new recording, just in case you decide to break it up.
Quarter one says, those boots are made for walking.
What?
I've shot an entire 20-minute tutorial without remembering to hit record.
Oh.
It's a 2-cornered triangle.
Mm-hmm. Okay, oops. Here we go. Woo! Okay. On to part 2, A Duel of Eagles.
Fade up on this splash page. So,
Whoa.
Sarah, tell us what's going on in this splash page.
Oh my gosh, it's such a cool panel. It's a full page panel, obviously, splash page. And you see the title, A Duel of Eagles, on top. So it's impossible to miss that this is a part 2. We're starting a new, story here.
No, it's the same story.
Well, it's the same story. We're starting a new, what is that called? Act.
Right.
A new act. There you go. And we see a large room with Luke, Leia, and the patriarch of the Sky Tree in the foreground. And the room features a massive window overlooking Orange Mountains. And this window is a little bit of a foreshadowing to the Death Star window because it's curved.
Mhm.
You have those line spokes going out. And it's not a full round. It's more of a oval
Arch.
thing, an arch shape.
It's
But-
interesting you see that. I see the cockpit of the Falcon.
That's what I see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I can see
Yeah.
that too, but I think because it's a wind. Well,
No, I think it's
okay.
because we're both light side and you're very dark.
Today apparently, yes, yes. So I really like this panel. I think it's really neat. I think these Skytree people are really striking with their blue and their what are they wearing? Loincloths,
Loincloths.
basically, and very muscular.
Human
Yes.
furry. Yeah.
Yes, it's very, very, yeah, it's cool. It's all the artists get to work on their musculature a little more.
And the composition goes right to that woman standing up on that little
Oh.
altar ledge stage.
Yeah, even though she's very small.
Yeah, you get the Luke, you get Leia, and then Luke, and you get the Aragog,
Yep, Arag, but
and,
yes,
and his arm is extended, so everything goes right to that woman in red.
you're right. All right, and I do want to say that I have a little bit of a Fatum fast fact.
You,
You do?
well, you do? What?
I do. So in the foreground here, you see Arog, Lord of the Highlands, Patriarch of the Skytra, the Windborn. Right? That's
Yes.
like his full title. Okay. Well, I have to say, I have been reading the Thrawn Ascendancy novels that Timothy Zahn is currently writing. And, these deal with Grand Admiral Thrawn, who we first met in Heir to the Empire way back in 1991. But now, this character is so popular, he showed up in Rebels, and now Zahn is writing this series of novels that shows Thrawn in his, before he came into lesser space, which is what the Star Wars universe is in, according to the Chiss. According to the Chiss, the Star Wars universe is lesser space.
Oh, well then,
Yes.
Mr. Hoity-toity.
Yes. So Thrawn is just Thrawn Yorodo, and he comes from the Chiss Ascendancy. He is a Chiss, and their society consists of 9 ruling families, each with a patriarch at the head. And so I just put these words together: patriarch of the Skytra, patriarch at the head of these 9 ruling families. And furthermore, the Chiss have a ridiculous naming structure that is sort of like this long name that Arag has. And also they have a lot of apostrophes, because this is Timothy Zahn, and he likes to add lots of apostrophes everywhere. Luke, anyone. So the naming structure here is ridiculous, because you have the last name of whatever the ruling family is. So in Thrawn's case, the last name is Myth, and that's why his name is Myth Thrawn Yorodo, right?
Okay.
And so, but their core name is in the middle of their name. So Myth is the first part, Thrawn is his core name, and Yorodo is extra. So if you see, there's this other Myth family person whose name is Aliastoff, but she becomes a Myth, so all of a sudden she's Myth Aliastoff, but they call her in the novel Thalius, which is in the middle of that whole name. Hence, this novel is so confusing. But, each person has 3 names because of all this.
So this is more of a parallel than a
it's
Fatum Fast Fact.
It is. It's a parallel, but I was excited, so I called it a Fatum Fast Fact.
Okay.
Will you allow it?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I will. All right. Luke and Leia are brought before Deverin, a winged female who speaks for the council. She lets them know that they are friends. She lets them know that they and their friends are hanging by a thin thread.
Uh-oh.
Luke sees the droids. Hey, they're back. Luke sees the droids, and before he can race over to them, the guards hold him and Leia back by sticking their spears millimeters away from their throats.
I hope he doesn't inhale.
Or exhale.
Look how cool that is, though. It totally and they're looking at us. They're
Yeah.
breaking the fourth wall again, Luke and Leia.
I love that frame.
And it looks so much like the Ewoks. Remember when they surround Luke, Han, Leia, Chewie, all the... Yep. Exactly.
Now, Leia makes a worthy plea to the council, but Arag brings out Exhibit A, a wanted poster of Leia for treason against the Empire. The council starts whispering something about Luke's lightsaber and that the name Skywalker is like the one of their wingless blood brothers. What is going on? Arag then tells them that the ship they escaped from, the Millennium Falcon, and then Arag tells Luke and Leia that the ship they escaped in. Then Arag tells Luke and Leia that the ship they escaped from, the Millennium Falcon, is still intact and is being held in the Magistrix Fortress. You know what that means?
They're not dead!
Han and Chewie are not dead.
Yay!
See, now, they called back in The Rise of Skywalker for the death of Chewbacca, but he wasn't really dead.
Yes.
They got that from this comic.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay.
No, asterisk, that didn't happen. All right, Luke then tells Leia that they've got to go and save Han. And Deverin says, whoa. As the prophecy foretold, with his help, the Sky Tree may once... Okay. So then Deverin... Oh, this is the woman, so you read this part.
But Deverin is the woman?
Yeah.
Okay. So then Deverin says, as the prophecy foretold, with his help, the Skytree may once more fly free. So with that, Luke and Leia are free of their charges, and the Skytree will give them whatever supplies they need.
Wow, that was lucky.
That was an interesting turn of events. I was like, When I read this, I'm like, wait, what?
Did we miss
What?
a couple of pages
I totally
or
got
panels?
confused. Yes. Is this like the plot convenience filter?
It really is. Like from TPZ.
I was so confused by this.
We need to forward this. Let's just skip ahead.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah, so
much.
they really missed a whole lot of plot points that should have been in this council meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But they said it's a council meeting. There's 7 and 8-year-olds reading this.
Right.
Well, let's just jump ahead to Luke's lightsaber.
So all of a sudden, they were on trial, and then, this backstory, okay, now you're not on trial, you're good. We're going to help you now. We're going to pledge our undying loyalty.
Yep, moving forward.
Makes perfect
Yes.
sense to me.
Mhm.
Yes.
Cut to Karis' fortress, where she and a squad of stormtroopers are holding Chewbacca and Han Solo captive. That narration says that she doesn't care for the Empire, but she is bound to a deeper obligation to a man that most of the galaxy fears, Darth Vader. But before she kills Han, the last of the long hunt, she wants to know about Leia and Luke, who she knows are both wanted by Darth Vader himself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, a stormtrooper spots a whole fleet of flyers racing over the mountaintops. Arog has brought Luke.
Oh, here.
Arog has brought Luke and Leia in winged suits that look like they're part of Sam Wilson's Falcon wardrobe to Karis' castle.
Okay, look at this. This is a cool panel, though.
Yeah. Looks like, hey, Sam Wilson, if you're not going to be using some of those Falcon outfits, we could use some right now.
So what I love about this picture, this panel, you're getting the stormtrooper view through the binoculars, the macro binoculars, and if you just kind of glance at the artwork, you're glancing at it like the trooper going, okay, here they come. And if you look at it a little carefully, you'll notice that Luke and Leia's heads are all obviously visibly different from the rest. But if you're casually looking as he did, you don't. I think that's deep, and I love that about this panel.
Yeah. Oh, it's great from his point of view.
And yeah, it's also cool, and I didn't realize this, but the stormtrooper's looking through those glasses, and when you see what he's looking at, because you see the outline of the glasses.
The macro
The
binoculars.
thank you.
That's what I mean.
Yes.
So you're actually getting that
His point of view.
his point of view, and that if he had looked carefully, he could have seen the plot coming, but he didn't look that carefully.
And they're
Yeah.
flying pretty fast, too.
Oh,
E-
yeah.
Ever see the Falcon fly?
Yeah, that's true.
Pretty quickly. All right, now, Leia feigns that she's been hit by a downdraft and goes plummeting to the fortress. The stormtroopers below are watching and betting on Kilobuck she doesn't make it. Yeah, you cold-hearted troopers.
No kidding.
The troopers realize she's not one of the winged species, but by then, Luke and Leia blast the troops with a...
Vorp! Boom!
just like that.
Thanks.
Oh.
Okay,
You're-
so... Oh, you already said that? Yeah, okay, you did that.
Right now, so one trooper shouts, "Take cover, men! We're sitting ducks out here in the open!"
Wait, what's a duck?
Exactly. Apparently there are ducks in the Star Wars universe.
And that's the second time they've been referenced.
Third
Yes.
time. Third
time.
We hear that from Rick Ali in The Phantom Menace. No, I'm sorry, by Captain Panaka. We're sitting ducks out here
Oh, that's right.
when the
Oh.
Trade Federation are on their
That's
tail.
Right.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
I forgot about that one. So yeah, that's the third
That's
time.
their time they mentioned ducks.
The
All right.
first time is one of your favorite trivia questions.
Yes, it is. About Luke and Obi-Wan talking about ducks. Luke's thought bubble states that he is much better than Leia when it comes to gliding. What? Why? What?
Because-
Why? In the middle of this battle, why does he need to bring that up?
He's
Well-
the best brush pilot in the galaxy.
Right. Well, because Leia stops her flying to go infiltrate this fortress while Luke keeps up the
Well, he's.
distraction.
But what he's saying is, you know what? I'm having a much easier time flying than Leia because I've flown on Tatooine.
Right.
I'm used to flying, and I'm so much better than Leia.
Do we miss a whole training montage in this?
Yeah, but what I love about this panel is that Luke's feathered hair is blowing nicely in the wind.
It is. It's very nice.
And is this also the first time, except for the ceremonial scene in the comics from the movie, that Luke's wearing something other than the Tatooine garb?
Pretty much, yes. Yes.
Yes.
Now, as Luke is keeping the stormtroopers busy, Leia is searching for Han and Chewie in the prison catacombs and passes right by a strung-up Batman.
So where? Oh, right here.
Right over here.
Oh,
Look at that.
nice.
That's Batman Beyond right there.
Oh, that's creepy.
That is very creepy.
All right.
They're crossing franchises.
Now, as she's doing this, Leia hears the muffled cries of Han as he's being tortured by an Imperial mind probe and barges into the holding cell and holds Karis at gunpoint. But seconds later, Leia is tackled by a Cataman warrior. Oh no! As they struggle, Leia is wounded, but is able to fire off a shot, killing one of the warriors, which knocks him back into the force field that keeps Chewbacca restrained. So Chewie's set free and does a number on the second warrior. The fight is no contest, reads the narration.
Leia then frees Han, who gives her a backhanded comment. This escape plan's going so well, you'd think it was one of mine. Can anyone give Leia some respect in this issue?
Oh!
Leia does.
Oh
She
my
gives
God.
herself some respect. Somewhere in there, she's like, "Thank you very much, Mr. Skywalker," in her head, which cracked me up.
Yeah, so funny.
Oh, this definitely was written in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
So cut to Luke blasting away at more stormtroopers. Where are these stormtroopers coming from? Seems like there are more Imperials in this castle than there were on the Death Star. Karis is taking note of Luke's abilities and curses the day she allied with those armored idiots. She knows the Force is with him and wonders if he is the one. If so, then for her and Vader's sake, he must die. She begins assaulting Luke with throwing stars, and then the doorbell rings.
Probably flipped over
Oh,
Oh, okay. For us?
there. Oh, if you're hungry, yeah.
All right, then she attacks Luke. Then she attacks Luke with what? A lightsaber.
lightsaber!
Where does she get this from? She uses her own force powers to dull Luke's wits and make him helpless. With a battle cry of her ancient avian race, Karis dives in for the kill. Luke blocks her blow and slashes Karis, which kills her. And then he knocks at the door.
That's weird. Let me check.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm gonna pause it.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, Corin of Amber. Is Leia wearing the green bodysuit so they can add her dress in post-production? That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's got little tennis balls all over her.
Yeah, right? There's some really cool things right here. Lubes. Okay. A lightsaber. Yes, a lightsaber, Courtney.
Yes.
Look at that. That's a cool
And-
panel right there.
Yeah, she's got the Force.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the Force.
Does she have? Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
she does a little bit. Yeah, yeah, because she can sense Luke, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty neat. Yeah. What did he say?
Chris had someone was knocking at his door.
Yeah. Do you want some champagne?
Why, yes. Why, yes. Hey, thanks everyone for staying with us here. I know this is
Yeah.
a longer
It
episode.
is a longer episode. It's pretty fun though.
Yeah.
I like it. We're gonna get to our final thoughts soon.
Some of these are just some of these names just get really hard to get through.
Uh
Lay's a Celtics fan.
huh. Nice.
Yeah, she got some green and
Or-
white
Right. Celtics fan.
on the back of her shirt. It says bird. It's a
What?
sports reference. How do I know that and you
How
don't?
do you know that? What the heck is
Because
that?
I'm a Bostonian. That's why.
Really?
Yeah. For Larry Bird, he's like the most popular Celtic.
Okay. Interesting.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Food delivery guy.
No, actually, I had some people fix the fence next door, and I thought, and he's like, "Hey, you were supposed to be." So never mind.
Okay.
Problem solved.
Okay.
All right.
Boy, this is the at this moment too.
Yeah, right when it was getting good. Go back to the beginning. So what happened again? The opening flash page, and the long hunt.
All right, now I'll go back a sentence. With the battle cry of her ancient avian race, Karis dives in for the kill. Luke blocks her blow and slashes Karis, which kills her. As he watches her plummet to the ground, he admits he feels sad.
Oh.
The Imperials, who have been occupying the fortress, have also been overtaken, and Aragag is thankful to the rebels for helping them gain back their freedom. Aragag. Arag.
Arag.
Dang it.
Arag? I don't know. It's hard to say.
Arag. Arag?
It's like one of the syllables is the main one.
Yeah. The Imperials, who have been occupying the fortress, have also been overtaken, and Arag is thankful to the rebels for helping them gain... The Imperials, who have been occupying the fortress, have also been overtaken, and Arag is thankful to the rebels for helping them gain back their freedom.
Han then asks Arag, he heard people refer to Luke as the One, and wonders, what does that mean?
Arag responds, okay, everyone take a seat and grab a number 2 pencil
Okay.
and a pad of paper.
Here we go.
Okay, so
This is the final page of
Yes.
the comic.
Aragog responds, years ago, during what humans called the Clone Wars, 3 Jedi Knights saved Sky from destruction. One was Obi-Wan Kenobi. The others were his pupils. In gratitude, we swore eternal friendship to them. Much later, one of the pupils returned. He told us that Obi-Wan and the Jedi were destroyed by his hand. Then he invoked our oath and made Sky an imperial satrapy to be ruled in his name by Karis, to whom he gave a portion of his knowledge and powers. That man was Darth Vader.
Whoa.
All right, so we'll break that down in a second.
Yes.
Luke asks who the other pupils were, and he is told, young one, you wear his lightsaber.
Goosebumps.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Luke then lumbers in the Falcon, and Leia knows something is on his mind, and he tells her, I've just got some things to work out. I never knew my father, but I know now that he was a man to be proud of. I hope I can be half as good.
Whoa. Drop some knowledge on us. So Sky, the planet, is full of, I guess, different factions. You have Karis, who Darth Vader kind of gave his powers and stuff to. And then you have the other grouping of the Sky people.
Mhm.
What are they called? The
Skytree.
The Sky Tree. And they, had kind of sworn their fealty to Obi-Wan and I guess Anakin, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that what that's saying?
That's what it's saying.
That's what I got about that.
Okay,
Except we didn't know his name was Anakin at this
No.
point.
all right, so let's break this down
Okay.
in a Fatum Fast Fact.
Oh, okay.
All right,
so
now.
you've done some research.
Yes, oh, yes, I did. Now, before we fade to black on the story, we've got to break this down. Now, this story, I'm sorry, my phone's been,
I know.
okay. All right, Fatum Fast Fact. Now, there is a prequel novella called Skywalkers, A Clone Wars Story. And Skywalkers is spelled S-K-Y-E. Walkers.
Okay, just like
the
these.
planet is
Sky.
Skywalkers, A Clone Wars Story. And this is written by Abel G. Pena, who regards Skywalkers as a celebration of continuity. I love that term.
I like that too.
Yeah.
Now, this was released on StarWars.com in 2015.
Yes.
So is this considered canon? Or is this considered a celebration of continuity?
It was written in 2011. They held on to it until 2015 when it was put on StarWars.com. So there's some questions here.
Okay.
I'm going to guess no, just because.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that because I would have no answer to it.
Okay. So let's go into this.
Because a lot of stuff has been rewritten since. Now, Arag had just told Luke that during the Clone Wars, Obi-Wan and his 2 apprentices saved Sky from destruction. And if you look at the panel, only Darth Vader is pictured.
Yeah.
He says that two of Obi-Wan's pupils were 2 of Obi-Wan's pupils had saved Sky.
Right.
Why they only drew the one, I don't know. Then Arog also says that the first of Kenobi's pupils came back years later as Darth Vader, and put Karis in command of Sky under Imperial control. All right, so if he's already Darth Vader here in 1979, and that's who Obi-Wan came to Sky with, and he's saying that he came back as Darth Vader.
So I don't think that at this point they were actually separating the name.
No, this is 1979. So
Right. So Darth Vader was his name. So his pupil, even a pupil was Darth Vader, and he just came back later wearing armor, saying, "Hey, I'm that same guy. So
right.
here's some power. You own the planet. If they give you any trouble, we'll come back and shoot some people and make it all good."
And we're gonna put Karis, the Magistress, and even Darth Vader couldn't say that. We're gonna put her in control. All right, now, in the novella prequel, the story unravels early in the Clone Wars timeline as Obi-Wan takes Anakin's close friend named Halagad Ventor under his wing. All right, so we're starting to retcon things here, where Obi-Wan takes Anakin and this other Jedi named Halagad Ventor back to Sky. All right,
got it.
We with
Go
you?
ahead.
Okay. Now, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Halagad, they are given a mandate to dethrone a genetics terrorist named Zeta Magnus that has taken control of Sky and enslaved their people. So once again, this takes place right before the Long Hunt.
Okay.
However, Obi-Wan and his pupils are also captured, and Zeta plans to scan the Jedi's brains to be used for his own army, but they are rescued by Karis.
Oh, but Karis, isn't she bad in this annual that we're reading?
Yes, but when Obi-Wan and his pupils go to Sky to overthrow this genetics scientist,
Okay.
Karis is not evil.
Okay.
It's only when Darth Vader puts her under control that's when she gets a little high and mighty for herself.
Okay.
So he puts her in control of Sky, and she's turned into the Tyrant, as she's called.
Okay.
I guess being put into a position like that will give you a label such as the Tyrant.
All right. So how is this related? Just the fact that they went back to Sky and
Just
used the same characters.
now, Abel Pena, the author of the novella Skywalkers, he read this and thought, okay, so I see that Obi-Wan and his pupils, his two pupils, went to Sky and helped them.
So I'm going to write that story.
I'm going to write that story, and then Vader, or Anakin, he knows of this planet Sky, and he knows of the help that these people have been given, and he knows of this army here, so he goes back to Sky and makes that an Imperial-occupied planet.
Okay, got it. Okay.
So
There you go.
someone made a comment about, it's Whirlwind of Amber. Were they drinking when they created these names?
Yes.
No, actually, a little fact I looked up is what they did was they had a spare Scrabble set, and they would dump it on the floor, and whichever letters connected the most, that's what they'd use for a name.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Hmm.
So now Rich Handley had gone back and written some more retcon about how lightsabers were switched. I'm not going to go over that.
No, please don't. Because at this point, I'm confused. So.
All right, so are we all on the same page, no pun intended, and know how the stories connect?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
think we do. But I think let's get into our favorites and stuff of this comics.
So are we all on the same page?
Sure.
Any questions? Any questions in the Sky Chat?
I hadn't even heard of those little stories, the continuity. Continuity? What did you call it? Stories?
The prequel?
Celebration of
Oh,
continuity.
the celebration of continuity.
I
Yeah.
hadn't even heard of them.
Well, that was something written by Abel Pena. That was
Nice.
his way of saying, I'm going to continue these stories
Right.
from Marvel or anywhere else and run with me.
So I like the fact that, he took this backstory that they only kind of refer to a little bit in this comic and just made a whole story out of it. That's a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The celebration of continuity. means I
Okay.
can continue and I can celebrate it, and we'll roll credits. The end.
All right.
All right, so next up, Star Wars Annual 2, which was released in August 1982.
Oh,
So we'll be breaking that down sometime
in the
in another month or so, and then release it in 3 years.
future. Indeed.
All right, so let's give our quick afterthoughts on this issue. Chris?
All right, so let's see. The big reveal at the end stuck with me. I remember as a kid reading it and going, "We get to hear about Luke's dad, whoa," because that was something I was always curious about as a kid. And then years later, after seeing The Empire Strikes Back, and I was rereading the series, I hit this issue. It's the first time I thought about continuity errors ever in any kind of series. And for me, there was a tiny one that has always bothered me. So my order for what is canon, I know there's an official canon, which I kind of disagree with. For me, it's if Lucas himself wrote it or said it, that's ultimate canon. Then anything that comes that's slightly different out of Lucasfilm is not as much canon as something Lucas said. And then anything after that that's written. So people who write guidebooks and start naming doodads on the side of a ship, okay, sure, that's canon. It doesn't conflict with any of the first two. So kind of like the laws of robotics. One must not disagree with something above it. But one of my favorite examples is, what is that little red R2 unit that Uncle Owen bought from the Jawas? Was it an R2 unit or was it an R5D4 unit? It was an R2 unit. Luke says so. This R2 unit has a bad motivator. When Kenner put out the toys, they didn't want to call it an R2 unit for confusing. So someone at Kenner said, let's just rename it R5D4, and that stuck. So for me, no, it's not. It is an R2 unit. I'm not going to argue with people about it, but that's how I look at it. And seeing this whole thing about you wear your dad's lightsaber and it's not Darth Vader was the first time I'd had a conflict with continuity. And that line stuck with me because I got chills as a kid going, that's really cool. We get to finally get some hint of Luke's dad. Anyway, that was my big takeaway from this whole thing.
Nice.
Yeah, the fact that Arog said that you're wearing his lightsaber, meaning
Yeah.
you're wearing the Obi-Wan's pupil's lightsaber.
That was cool.
That is because Anakin had given Halagad Ventor his lightsaber. Because Darth Vader's got his own Darth Vader lightsaber.
Right.
That's why I didn't go into all that.
Well, that makes sense, though. It's kind of like the wand lore.
Okay, all right, good.
Lightsaber lore.
Well, then I should have mentioned that earlier.
That's neat.
All right, Sarah, give us your initial afterthoughts after reading, going over, and breaking down this issue.
So I thought, like you, Chris, this is a really cool ending. I love the nod to Luke's father and, Obi-Wan, the Clone Wars, all of that. And that Luke can think of him as a man to be proud of with memories to cherish. That, warmed my heart. I loved that. And we got another glimpse into these mystical Clone Wars, which in that time, in the 70s, you'd only heard a throwaway line in Star Wars, and now in this particular series, I think it's kind of mind-blowing that now in 2021 we have this amazing seven series of the Clone Wars, like the Clone Wars missions and everything.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? 7 seasons.
7 seasons.
7 seasons of the Clone Wars now to be like, oh, well, we know what the Clone Wars are, and they're amazing. But back then, it's like all this cool lore. Now, overall, I thought this issue was very fun. I felt that the winged people, the Sky Tree people, should have planted the seeds of the prophecy sooner, so it would make more sense in the heat of that trial for the winged people to suddenly change their mind. But other than that, that was my one quibble. Other than that, it was pretty fun, and I loved, of course, all the beautiful artwork. So there you have it.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I like this story. I could really, it's like when you see those big convoluted movies and you go, okay, I can't tell you what's going on, but I get the gist. This is like one of those.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very much in-depth and a little confusing with who is leading and why until the very end. Because I didn't know, and it wasn't until the end that I realized, oh, so Karis is the tyrant leading over the Sky Tree.
Right.
Didn't really get that until the very, very end. Not sure why Luke and Leia were suddenly let go during that trial, but like we said, when we're breaking it down, they just had to move the story along. And kids don't like stories about trials. Just,
No.
you know,
Or trade disputes.
well, they like those, but they just don't like seeing characters stand around in their courtroom talking. Get a lightsaber into that man's hand. They discovered Luke must be related to the Skywalkers who saved them years ago, and he has a lightsaber, so it must be. Well, Karis has got a lightsaber. She knows there's lightsabers everywhere. So that was one of those, let's leap to the conclusion there. So this was a double-sized issue. No reason why they couldn't have spent a little bit more time breaking down some logic.
Okay.
All right, now the art did very much intrigue me, and I felt I wanted to move forward to really look at all the spectacular art that we'd been missing from the other issues, because now the characters look like the characters.
Right.
And I finally knew who I was looking at.
Now we do have some of our Sky Chatters weighing in on their thoughts on
Okay.
this episode. Shall I read that?
Mm-hmm.
So Corin of Amber says, this issue was a product of its time, written in a time when fitting stories into a greater whole was not as important. Also, the fandom was still growing and they had no idea how intense people would become about the universe. Yes, here they were more like having fun. I like that. So great comments there. And Courtney Turkel says, this story was way too confusing for me.
So come on, back in 1979, they didn't know that we'd be doing podcasts about these stories in 2021. Come on.
Yeah.
They should have known that.
They should have.
And who am I supposed to be mad at? Because now all I can see on this entire cover is the angled shin bone.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's like he's got a plastic shin, a
Yeah.
rubber shin.
It's Mr. Fantastic. That's it, yeah, with a lightsaber.
So now instead of a Star Wars column, this annual gives us a gallery of Star Wars Weekly UK comics. And I have some of these. I got some of these as a kid, and I was so jealous because these covers are just beautiful. So if you're watching right now live, you'll get to see these, or you can watch this later on
our-
YouTube and see these if you don't already have them.
Yeah. I bet a lot of our UK friends have these.
I was
Yeah.
in England a couple of years ago, and I bought as many of them as I could get my hands on.
Oh, I got a couple myself. Now,
Wow.
over there, the issues were cut up into several stories and done in black and white.
Oh.
And
So you're
including
gonna get more
other
covers.
stories, too.
Yeah. So each issue included a Star Wars story and these other little stories from
Other superheroes.
other
or
franchises.
yeah.
Cool.
and the issues had other stories, to fill them out. All right, so once again, to see these, go to our YouTube live uncut recording of this episode.
Yeah. Just go search YouTube for Skywalking Through Neverland.
All right, did you already spin through them?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now let's wrap things up by naming our favorites and non-favorites. So, Chris, what was your favorite line of dialogue in this issue?
It was Leia being snarky. Actually, that gown's a little demure for my taste. I don't know why. I love that.
Oh, that line's got so much packed into it.
Oh, yes.
All right, Sarah, what was your favorite line of dialogue?
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I really loved when Luke and Leia are kind of, in that trial, and Luke wants to see if 3PO and R2 are all right because they're in stasis lock, and he's like, I'm going to see if they're all right, even though they're on trial, and he starts moving toward it. Cut to the spears pointed at the throats of Leia and Luke, and Luke says, on second thought, maybe I'll just stay right where I am. It was just really funny. I just love the timing of it. It was really great.
All right, my favorite line of dialogue, which we just talked about, was when the one stormtrooper shouts, "Take cover, men! We're sitting ducks out here in the open." Once again, you refer to ducks, and you got my vote. Because there are ducks in the Star Wars universe.
Mhm.
And do you know what the Prime Duck's name is?
Optimus Prime?
No, come on. It's right there. It's right there.
Count
There's
Dooku?
there's one Darth Duck in the Star Wars universe. What's his name?
Dooku?
Howard.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Moving
okay.
on. Moving on. All right. Now, what is your favorite panel, Chris?
my favorite panel is this one being displayed where Luke is fending off the smoke monster. It's about to get him. Sarah pointed this out earlier, but the colors are so contrasting. You've got the black red of the evil smoke demon, and the white and blue yellow of the good guys. The monster is encompassing them, but you can see the resistance, the hope, the and then the lightsaber igniting into its stomach. There's so much. Even the blur lines around the outside of the image. Everything about this just speaks of action, power, drama. It's a beautifully drawn panel.
And even Luke's hair is being wind blown back. So there's
Yeah,
a lot of
but-
power coming his way.
Yeah, it is a really good one.
It's very horror vibes. I love that.
Hmm. It's like Swamp Thing. All right, Sarah.
Okay, so I'm going to go to the introduction of the Magistrix. Let's see where that is. That's yours.
No, one more. There it is.
Right here?
Right there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Oh, here we go. All right, so on page 4, we have in that bazaar the introduction of the Magistrix of Sky, and she's surrounded by her Catamin, and I'm just totally getting Zootopia vibes of Gazelle and her tiger minion dudes that dance. Like, it's like totally the same, like they're big giant tiger guys who are just dancing and have. Anyway, so I expect this panel to break out into song.
Okay.
I really like
Alright.
it. And other than that, I really like the panel that you chose, Chris. So I just picked a different one.
Okay.
Look, I also like her outfit. I think
Yeah.
it's
Well.
no,
Yeah.
I mean it's actually. If it was on an actual person, it would look really stylish.
Yeah, and I think it's cool how these Sky Tree people, their arms are like go into the wings. So their arms are their wings.
Mhm.
They're very muscled and then the wings come out of them. So it's neat.
All right. So if I ever saw this grouping walking around a celebration
Oh,
of Karis and her Catamin warriors, I would flip out.
Well,
Yes.
You guys are customers, and we know lots of people.
I
wow.
don't know if I'd want to walk around as a furry werewolf.
And I don't think I'd want to wear her outfit all day.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there are kids at celebration. Can't wear that outfit. All right, for me, I'm going to go to page 6. And this is where Luke and Leia are running from the Catamin, and they are in a red glow that makes them stand out from the yellow and green background. Right there, looking at it right now. I just really, really like that. Very stylish and very artistic and very impressionistic.
And 70s.
It kind of gives you an idea of how big the city they're running away from, but it focuses on them in that huge city. It's actually
Yeah.
really pretty.
Yeah.
That's neat.
And if I were to have a runner-up, that'd be on page 20. This is the panel where the spears are millimeters away from Luke and Leia's throat,
Yeah. That's
because
so neat.
the rendition of Luke Skywalker looks just like Mark Hamill.
Mhm.
Look at that. And even Princess Leia, that's Carrie Fisher right there.
It's really cool.
All right, now let's go to the most non-Star Wars moment or line of dialogue in this issue. Chris, do you want to lead us off again?
Sure. Mine is I don't know. I just can't crack. When Leia says, "Was it bring soup and medicine and blankets?" Soup, medicine, blankets. What if he brought like I don't know Pepto Bismol? What? Be a little more specific, lady. You need to tell him what to bring him. So if I was in trouble and she was the combat medic, I would be a little concerned.
I guess maybe there's only so much medicine, so not much to choose from on the Falcon.
Yeah, maybe. Or she could have said, bring a bottle of Bacta.
Right, back yeah.
Bacta
And,
fluid.
and the hot soup, she never said chickpea. You want clam chowder?
Beet soup. You never know. I mean,
Yeah. Do you want some broth?
what
Come
if
on,
he's
be
a-
more specific.
What if he's got an allergy to peanuts and he brings peanut soup?
Well, this is the 70s.
Good point. That didn't exist back then.
Yeah. All right, Sarah.
Okay, so I think the most Star Wars moment would be in page 5 when the Catamen are after Luke and and Leia, and at one point the narration says that Luke's searing energy blade sends the lead Cataman to a well-deserved reward. This is I have a problem with this because Luke is a Jedi or is learning Jedi ways, and the Jedi don't think of killing people as a reward. Like, so I just feel like this is very un-Star Wars like, because
I would agree.
if this was Darth Vader killing someone with his lightsaber, then yes, sure, well-deserved reward. But that's not a very Jedi-like thing to say.
But don't forget, in Star Wars, he had 5 minutes of training.
I know that. I know. I'm just. It's coming from a place. I don't like where it's coming from. So
Okay.
that's my un-Star Wars moment.
Okay. All right. Well, Chris already took mine.
Okay.
When Leia says, "Hey, yeah, get some chicken soup for Luke."
Luke.
Yes. But maybe I'd go with the moment where Luke is saying mid-battle that I'm such a better glider than Leia. I'm so much better than she is. Han, when Han gives Leia a backhanded compliment, you see that coming.
Yes.
But when Luke does it, as pining as he is for her, I can't see him saying that.
Mhm.
Well, a good runner-up is when, right after that, where she says something to the effect, or she's thinking something to the effect of, I bet Luke was more worried about me than himself at this moment. I can handle myself very well, thank you, Mr. Skywalker.
That's right, Mr. Skywalker. Such a weird thing to hear.
Yeah. So I bet now you can't wait until we do Star Wars Annual 2.
Oh my gosh, what's in store for us?
Dun, dun,
A lot of
dun.
floating monks.
Whoa.
With that, let's wrap up this episode of Classic Marvel Star Wars Comics, where we just went over Star Wars Annual number 1, The Long Hunt. So we'll see everyone back for issue 33, Saber Clash.
Ooh.
And I know we said that last time, but then I forgot that the annual was the next issue coming up after the Jawa Express.
That's okay. Well, thank you to Rob Dellinger.
And we gotta thank Chris Alexander for joining us for this episode.
Thank you for having me.
So
Yay.
tell everyone where they can see your origami work.
You can see my work on YouTube. My channel, I think it's c.starwarsorigami.com, I think. I don't know how YouTube works. But I have a channel, and I have, I think at this point, close to 55 individual model tutorials that you can follow along from start to finish and make some models. Each model also has a link that you can download free PDF paper to make the super special version of the origami model. And also my books are out, Star Wars Origami, Star Wars Origami 2. Plus, if you bump into me anywhere and ask me to make you something, I'd be more than happy to do it because it's what I love doing.
And believe me, he would. Hey, tell us about this upcoming model.
So the next one I'm going to be working on, I'm going to try and get each of the Bad Batch helmets. That's my next plan. But I'm also working on 2 separate models that are related. The troop transport that Kenner put out back in the, was it 80s or
1979.
It did make the 70s. So it had the little side things you put your little stormtrooper in, and they stood on the outside, locked in these little. I couldn't imagine what happens with their arms in these things if someone starts shooting. You're like, wait, let me grab the gun with my teeth and start shooting back, but you get a helmet. So I don't
We'll
know how
retcon
works.
that in your origami model.
I will fix that. It'll open up. Also, a very similar model is the Star Speeder 2000, or is it 3000 in the new one?
I think
Star
it's the
Tours?
1000.
Is it 1000?
It's 1000 because of the prequel.
Yeah, so the current
Okay.
Star Tours Star Speeder is the Star Speeder 1000.
So I'm also working on that. They're both very similar. I mean, from an origami point of view, they're probably going to use
yes.
similar methods to make. So those are the 2 I'm working on after the helmets.
Nice.
All right, well, Chris Mason in the Sky Chat says ATST.
I already have an ATST,
Oh,
and if you go on my website or if you go on the YouTube, that thing, you can download a paper, and the ATST actually starts with a triangle instead of a square. So you print out one sheet of paper, cut it from the diagonal. One is going to be the Imperial version, so it has the Imperial markings. The other is going to be the markings for the Mandalorian, so it'll have that stripe on the leg and look more like that creepy kind of almost creature thing crawling through the swamps in the Mandalorian.
Ooh,
Nice.
exciting. All right. Well, please check out all the rest of the shows on the Skywalking Network.
Wait, someone's asking for origami cat humans. I like it. Thank you.
Oh.
See, they want origami from this issue as well. All right, thanks to Rob Dellinger as well for our main jingle, and you can check out Rob's work at alpharhythmkings.com.
And please check out all the rest of the shows on the Skywalking Network.
Just whisper this. Sky.
Oh, I thought I was supposed to give one part and you're going to give the other part. And
All
I
right,
was like, okay.
do that then.
Including Talking Apes,
Neverland Clubhouse,
the Max Effects Podcast,
Resilient Squadron,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
Star Warsology,
Ologies,
Star Warsologies, and our new,
Collectopolis, our new YouTube show,
as well as our flagship show, Skywalking Through Neverland. And you can find them all at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Now, if you are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon, we are releasing bonus content on a weekly basis that includes discussions on the Marvel Disney Plus shows, the Star Wars Disney Plus shows, and even we're going to do a Black Widow discussion this weekend as well. So head to skywalkingforce.com to check out all the different levels available. And thank you to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force. Now you can find us on social media. We are at Skywalking Pod for Twitter and Instagram and
TikTok.
but not Periscope, as it says here in the show notes.
What these need to be updated.
Yes, you can find us on Facebook. We just search Facebook for Skywalking Through Neverland. We have a group and we have a page. Please like the page and request to join the group. We would love to have you there. You can also email us, share@skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
All right, now for classic Marvel Star Wars comics, this is Richard
And this is Sarah
And this is Chris.
saying
Fadoom.
Forp,
Zoom.
Vadao, Fatum, Gronk.
I forgot about Gronk.
Oh,
There we go.
yay.
2 hours later, I guess you can stop that now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a long issue.
That was long, yes. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you everyone for sticking with us. My goodness. I know we didn't even schedule this. It just kind of happened. So thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate that. All right.
Mhm.
So are we ready? All right.
All right, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for checking in.